Hey, what's up guys? So today we are going to be talking about, is this card playable because it's damaged? Now, a lot of times players will say, this card's damaged, but it's still playable. And that's kind of an open to interpretation because at the last minute, sometimes you might be dueling at a, huge tournament and the judge might say, one of your cards looks like it's marked. And what they mean by that is it's either marked with a pen, which is something obviously you tried to cheat, or it might be just something marked by, it being a bent card. Now let's go ahead and go over some of the scenarios. So one thing before we get into the main deck, as far as the extra deck, it doesn't matter how damaged your card is. Your card can look like this. This is the actual X-Saber that I used for a while. This one looks like it's been through a washing machine, and I always like to say it's been battle damage. It's went through so many battles. Yeah, but anything in your extra deck, no matter how damaged it is, as long as you can still read the text. Now this text is a little bit damaged, but you can still make out what the effect is, and that's kind of where it is important. So, as far as the extra deck goes, it doesn't matter how damaged it is, as long as you can read the card text, you should be okay. So, as far as the artworks on cards, I know a lot of players like to alter artworks on cards, which we'll go over. Now, see this Mirror Force? It looks a little strange, right? That's because it's been drawn on. Now, a Mirror Force like this should be considered playable. However, it's always up to the judge or whoever is running the tournament to decide if it's playable or not. And if you write on the card text, like for example, this wonderful Jack's Knight has best card ever written right over it. Actually, it's just on the sleeve. I would never ruin a Jack's Knight, an ultimate rare. But anyways, let's just say, for example, it was actually on the card. The thing is, you can no longer read the card text. However, it is important to realize that he is a normal monster, so it doesn't really matter for him. Although you can see that you can't really read the attack and defense now if it was actually written on it. So keep in mind, if you are going to draw on your cards or alter the artwork, do not mess with any of the card text. Do not mess with any of the the attribute, or the type, or the amount of stars it has, or its actual name. So basically, just edit the picture. That's what you can change. And this is an excellent example of a Mirror Force that's been altered. It almost looks like it's foil. Like it fooled me. But anyways, let's go over damage cards now. Now, there's always different ways to look for damage on a card. There is, physical, actually having a card being bent. And that's probably the most common way of, saying, like, I don't know if this card is playable or not because it's got this huge crease in it. Now, there's also, because there's older cards or, your hands get sweaty on some cards, and you'll see that there's a difference in it. This MST, I actually put it upside down just to show you guys the difference in the card when you actually look at it in your deck, because this is ultimately what causes someone to think that you're cheating or anything like that. Do you see how there's that yellow? Do you see that like distinct yellow? Let's see. I hope the camera can pick it up. It looks like it's right there. It's like directly in the middle. So we can shuffle the deck, and let's see if we can still find that MST, because it's like kind of obvious. And that's really where the whole damaged cards, you can't play them, because you can see it's still right in the middle, right here. The next card should be the MST. Yeah, there it is. And that's because this card is actually really old. I mean, some old cards, they just end up getting this like this brownish tint to it. It's just because there's too much sweat on the card. I know, it's kind of gross, but that, is something that happens. So what you can do to prevent some of this is just make sure you push in your cards all the way. Like currently, these ones are all pushed up, just so I can show you guys. But now you can see that there's no longer that huge dark yellow. But you can see it on this Heavy Storm, because this is an old Heavy Storm. There might be some sweat on that as well. But if all your cards look, pretty much white, there shouldn't be a problem. Or if they're all like sweaty, then that shouldn't be a problem. But if there's some distinct cards that you can tell, you can get called out for that during a tournament. And so now that we got the MST out of the way, just because that's just like an older card, that is kind of something that, it's something to mention. Although majority of the time, again, it's mostly because the card has like a huge crease in it. Now, regardless of where the crease is, just to make it more obvious for the video, this one is right directly in the middle. This poor Evocator Chevalier, it's got a huge crease in it. So, this one should be obvious. I mean, if you're playing in a duel and you look at it, oh, I wonder where that card is. It's right here. Now, this would be considered something that majority of judges would say, yeah, that's not playable because it's too obvious where that card is. Now, even if you set your deck down, I can't even, let's see if I can set it down. You can still see, like, right there, there's where it is, because it's got that huge crease in it. And that is ultimately what determines if a card is playable or not. I like how there's a Gemini Imps in my main deck, because I didn't take out my side deck before. But yeah, like I was saying, basically what it comes down to is if you can see your deck, like, from the side, and you can notice it, like, immediately. Like, even this card sleeve, I'm not sure if you can tell by the lighting, but see how this one is pretty much flat, and this one is kind of bent, and that is due to the card. And actually, you can damage some of your sleeves. Not that, you know, sleeves are that expensive. It's just one sleeve, that is. If you keep on buying sleeves. Now, see, now this sleeve is kind of permanently bent like that. It's because it's all his fault. So, yeah, what it comes down to is it's ultimately up to the judge to decide if the card is playable or not. But remember that if it's just a small, like, sometimes cards get, like, scratches. That's something it's very difficult to be able to notice in a sleeve, so that shouldn't be a problem. Just make sure the card text is clear. None of that is actually damaged, because that can be important. As far as it being damaged on the side, like, I don't care if I bend this, because we're doing it for an example, and this card probably will be thrown away anyways, because I was digging through a collection, and I found this, I was like, oh, that's an excellent example, let's go over this. So let's say it's bent, like, right here. Like, on the sides from, I would say, from the sides, it shouldn't matter. Like, if it was bent in half like this way, depending if it ruins, like, the card sleeve. Like, if it's only, like, a small bend, like that, let's say, yeah, it could still be playable, but majority of the time when it's on the top or the bottom of the card, it causes the sleeve to actually change its shape, depending on how large the crease is. Keep that in mind as well. That's also something that's kind of important. But again, remember, always ask a judge. If you're kind of worried about a card, you're not sure, just ask the judge. It'll make your life easier. If the judge looks at it, maybe he'll say, don't worry about it. It's not that big of a deal. As long as you talk to him beforehand, just to let him know, it's always better than to just be like, oh, surprise, now I'm at, like, the top tables, and I've always been drawing this card that has a huge, like, for example, especially if it's on, like, a card like Heavy Storm, Darkhull, or any, like, other card like that you can only play one of. Usually those are the cards that they're, like, looking for to make sure they're not marked or anything like that. But if you're running triple of, you know, a card, and maybe one of them has, like, a small, like, crease in it, and then, like, it's not noticeable, then, you know, they won't really care. But again, remember, alternate artwork, keep it inside the picture. Do not write on the card text, unless it's normal monster, then that shouldn't matter. As far as the extra deck, yeah, well, these aren't damaged, but I just wanted to mention that anything in your extra deck, like this Arabellum, for example, it doesn't matter. As long as you can read the card text, majority of the time, the judges won't care. Although, sometimes, if they feature you for a feature match, and they want to take the picture, they will ask you not to have alternate artworks on cards, and they might ask you, actually, to, like, borrow one from a friend. That has happened before. I know it happened with a Black Rose at YCS Long Beach, I believe it was. Someone's Black Rose, he had extended artwork. It didn't even touch any of the text, and the judge was like, no, we can't have that. Which is, yeah, kind of a bummer. But yeah, like I said, extra deck should not matter. Like, there might be, like, one judge in, like, the entire world that'll be like, nope, your extra deck is damaged. Because, like I said, the reason why a card could or couldn't be considered playable is because it could be considered something that you could actually cheat with. So that's an important video. And, you know, if you're trading cards and someone says it's playable, you know, they don't really know if it's playable. The person that decides that is a judge at that current tournament, and that is something to keep in mind. But anyways, if you have any more questions on, like, damages and if it's playable, I pretty much think I covered everything, but let me know in the comment section below, and I will try to answer some of you guys and help you guys out, because I know sometimes you get damaged cards. Like, you know, sometimes I get damaged cards, and you know, it's not that big of a deal, especially, like I said, if it's an extra deck, who cares? But anyways, thanks for watching, have a great day, Nice signing out.